If you have around $1,000 to spend on a gaming PC and you are willing to build it yourself, trust me, you can get a system that will run everything at 1440p high FPS, and it's also capable of running every single game at 4K resolution. If you are new to gaming PCs, don't worry, I will try to explain everything as simple as possible, and I will also tell you what this PC is capable of running, that way you are sure when buying this system. At the end, I will also explain how to make this PC a bit more expensive in case you have a higher budget. That being said, you will have all the links to these components down below in the video description, and I think it's important for you to know that maybe when you're watching this video, prices are not the same. For that reason, I recommend you checking them out. That being said, let's start. So first, I'm going to tell you the components, and like I said before, if you're a beginner, don't worry, I will try to explain as simple as possible, but if you don't understand the components anyway, it's not that big of an issue because I will explain exactly what you can expect out of this system. So with the CPU, we have the AMD Ryzen 5 5600. This is a 6-core 12-thread processor, and in my opinion, is the best budget CPU on the market since you can pair it with a bunch of graphics cards. When it comes to gaming, the graphics card is the most important component since it's the one that will get you the most FPS. However, you don't want to get the highest end graphics card with the lowest end CPU because you will have a bottleneck on your system. But the Ryzen 5 5600 is actually so good that it's really hard to bottleneck a GPU with the CPU unless it's a really high end graphics card. Then for the motherboard, we have the Gigabyte B550M Aorus Elite. This is a good gaming motherboard, nothing too crazy, but right now it's going for $96 and it has BIOS flashback, which is a feature that you may need for your PC to post. Don't worry, it's really simple to do and nothing to be scared of. Then for the memory kit, we have the Team Group T-Force Vulcan C, 16 gigs of RAM, 2x8, meaning that it's dual channel, and trust me, you want to get dual channel memory. If you get one stick of 16 gigs of RAM, you will be hurting your performance. Then for the storage, we have the Kingston NB2, 1TB of Gen 4 SSD going for $43. Now, the speeds on this storage are more like Gen 3 SSD, but anyway, for gaming it really doesn't matter. Honestly, this is a great and really fast NVMe drive. 1TB should be enough for your titles. However, if you need more, you can always upgrade down the line, and trust me, it's a really easy upgrade to make. Then for the graphics card, and the most important part, on a gaming PC we have the RX 6800 XT. In the description you will have an Nvidia alternative, but that one is going to be more expensive, and if you're willing to spend $1,000, the 6800 XT is going to be your best option. With this graphics card you can run everything at 1440p with no exception on the highest settings, even a game like Cyberpunk 2077. And if you're looking to play esports titles, even at 4K, you will be able to run this at above 240 FPS. So please, if you want a 1440p high refresh rate monitor or even a 4K 144Hz one, feel free to buy one, since games like Fortnite, Valorant, CSGO, Minecraft, and all these type of video games you will be able to run with no issues at FPS that are higher than your monitor refresh rate. So whether you want to play at 4K 60 plus FPS on average in titles like Red Dead Redemption 2, GTA 5, or maybe you want to play esports titles at above 144 FPS, the RX 6800 XT is going to be able to achieve that, let alone 1440p. Honestly, for 1440p this is a beast of a GPU, and the good thing is that it comes with 16 gigs of VRAM. If you don't understand this, basically it's the graphics card memory, and lately 8 gigs of VRAM is becoming an issue, especially for 4K and 1440p, so having 16 gigs of RAM gives you some room for future AAA titles coming into the market. Then for the case we have the Antec NX320. This one has 3 RGB fans on the front, it has a front mesh panel, so we have everything that we need in terms of airflow, and it's only going for $55 on Newegg. I also recommend you adding an extra fan on the back like the Arctic P12 just for $8. Honestly, this is not necessary, so you can save up $8 if you want, but it's a nice to have for your temps overall. And last but not least, we have the power supply. I picked the Cooler Master G700. This is a 700 watt 80 plus gold power supply. It's BT rated, meaning that it's a mid-range power supply, and honestly it's going to be amazing quality for this type of field, and it's going for $80. However, I want you to know that for just around $20 extra you can get a 750 watt power supply that is 80 rated, so you will have that alternative in the description as well, and the wattage difference is not a problem since you don't need more than 700 watts for this system. But if you want an A-tier rated power supply, because maybe down the line you want to put really high-end components here, feel free to buy that one just for a $20 difference. The total price for this system by the time I'm recording this video is $985. And remember, maybe when you're watching this, it's more expensive or it's cheaper. So I do recommend you checking the latest prices because I cannot tell you what the price will be when you're watching this. And like I said, this system should be enough for every single game at 1440p, and also if you want to get started at 4K 60 plus FPS on average in most titles. However, if you have more money, for $1,070 you can get this system with better components. The CPU GPU combo is going to be the same, so in terms of gaming performance it will be really similar, but here you get 32 gigs of RAM, which is not needed for gaming, but if you're looking to do production work, multitasking, maybe streaming at a high level, and also you want to play really high RAM demanding video games like Hogwarts Legacy, it's a nice to have, and it's only $50, so it's a really nice upgrade. Then another upgrade is 2TB of SSD instead of 1TB. Once again, 1TB should be enough to get you started, but if you like to download a bunch of games and you know that 1TB is not enough, going with 2TB is a nice to have. Then I added the extra case fan on the back, but this time is RGB to match the 3 front RGB fans, and I also added a CPU cooler for the Ryzen 5 5600 that is RGB. Honestly, it's not really necessary in terms of temps, but it's going to look better, and you're also going to be getting a more quiet experience. Now, let's say you don't have $1,070, but you're willing to spend $1,020 or $1,050, then I do recommend you doing the upgrades in the following order. The first upgrade would be the RAM, the second upgrade would be the storage, the third upgrade would be the CPU cooler, and the fourth upgrade would be the RGB case fan. So, like I said before, if you have less than $1,070 but you're willing to spend a bit extra, those are the upgrades I recommend you doing. And if you want a Prebuilt PC instead at this price point, I do recommend you watching my video about the best Prebuilt PCs of the month, because of course a PC build is going to get you better performance, but if you're not willing to build it yourself, which is completely understandable, maybe you just don't have the time or you don't want to go through the process of it, then getting a Prebuilt PC is actually a really good choice. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, let me know down below in the comment section. Thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.